It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started.
All right, so it's time for me to get caught up with you. I had I had an attendee in my class who asked me about coaching. And the question she asked was, what specifically does an Agile coach do all day? How does an Agile coach function? And I thought that was a great question. And the irony is that I had another person send in an article that talked about what an Agile coach does all day. So I thought I'd combine these two, the question and the article, to give a conclusive answer and to give you my feedback around what the article says. So it starts off with it looks like a story or setting the tone. It says, quote, the entire team joins this Agile meeting on the first day of the sprint. An Agile trainer. The squad has an Agile coach who assists them in identifying roadblocks and coaching them on how to improve their approach continually. A typical question I get from the Agile community is, what does an Agile coach at Spotify do? In his weblog, Joachim Sunden answered this question roughly 2 years ago. The Agile coach job at Spotify. If your team isn't performing this regularly, this should be the first item you address. Improve quality. What does delivering on demand training on specialized topics like user stories, refining, and so on mean? Agile testing is a software development approach that employs Agile software development methods. An Agile coach's day in the life, sometimes all they need to do is think it out. As coaches, we can assist them in creating that space and serve as their learning partner. Examples include assisting a team in better estimating and forecasting. However, your sense of self worth as an Agile coach must be independent of the results. Let's pause there. Okay, so it's so good to hear someone talk about what a day in the life of the Agile coach is. What I can tell you is that it's not as straightforward as you think, and it's not going to be as generic as you think. And I'll go on record and start here. So, in my opinion, with my opinion in 25 cents, you have a quarter, is that, Agile coaches spend 70% of their time doing things or assisting with things that are intangible, improving the quality of life of the team, helping ensure that every increment that they deliver is indeed potentially shippable, helping build relationships across teams and intra teams and in teams. The coach is really taking on like a super dose of the Scrum Master's responsibilities. They're helping coach, guide, and lead Scrum Masters to walk a certain path. They're helping make sure that people have training and tools necessary in order for them to be successful. There's just so much that they can do. Now, a lot of people will jump in and say that in order to be an Agile coach, that you have to have certain training or certain education or certain certification, or that you need to focus your attention on certain things or training from the back of the room or whatever the case may be. Let's see where Aske goes on with the assessment. It goes on to say, your marketability can be improved by earning an Agile coach certification, which shows employers that you possess the core qualities expected of professionals. You will learn how to coach team members and train leaders while undergoing Agile coach training. If you want to be a disciplined Agile coach, then you should be knowledgeable as you can about how Agile is applied in various teams. If you want to be a Scrum Alliance certified Scrum coach, you need to be familiar with how Scrum is implemented, and the same is true with any other coaching technique, right? You need to just familiarize yourself with what's going on. If you want to be a safe coach, you need to understand art events and PI events and those kind of things. So I guess what I'm trying to say is Agile coach is a very, very generic term, and they need to be quite versed in a lot of different techniques that are applied in order for them to implement a framework. So as long as they understand the framework and they understand how things are applied, it should be pretty easy for them to take these teachings and apply it in a common sense way. So interestingly enough, Agile transformations are open to more than just development teams. An Agile coach and senior program manager at LinkedIn frequently mentions the first human coaches said to be in the 19th century exam instructors who adopted the name from horse-drawn carriages advised participants precisely on what to do to pass the tests. What is the role of an Agile coach? These quizzes have nothing to do with certification exams. This is an entirely online course. The best Agile coaching days or when you have nothing to do. As firms as firms transition to Agile, they have discovered that the Scrum Master is critical in ensuring that the team is productive and self-organized. So there we are. So that kind of reinforces what I just now said, right? That helps guide us and gives us some street cred, if you will. It gives us some credibility. It gives us where we need to be, and it helps us to really be able to tie those loose ends together with regard to the human approach and how we're doing things. A person who is well versed in all aspects of Agile, hey, that's kind of what I said a few minutes ago, as well, it is well known enough to be able to guide others. What exactly does a Scrum Master do during the day? Uh, she's currently 150 kilometers away, working from her home in a valley, juggling nonstop schedule of hangout meetings, Zoom meetings, and encouraging technical excellence. Right? Yeah. So it's just one of these things where they're pointing out all those intangibles that I was talking about having a corporate job, pointing out the intangibles, allowing people to see exactly where they are and where they're going. There's just so much going on. I think that's just so important for us to understand that no matter what company you're with and no matter what form of Agile you're trying to apply, that the job of a coach isn't meant to be a straightforward list or checklist of, hey, I'm doing 1 through 4, but I'm weak on 5 and I need to do 6. I mean, sure, we could get some of those lists if you'd like, but the point I'm trying to make is I think it's beyond the list. I think that good, strong, agile coaches are the ones who really dig in and understand what it means to function a certain way. And I think what I mean by that, and I know it sounded very broad, what I'm trying to say is a strong agile coach doesn't try to pigeonhole themselves into a set of duties and responsibilities. They do whatever is necessary to help the team be successful, and they find creative ways to help implement agile so that everyone on the team feels like they can add significant value without feeling like they have anything standing in their way. So the coach helps the team members remove their own obstacles or removes obstacles for them if necessary, but helps keep the wheels all on the bus and helps keep the skids greased so that we can really just get in and make things happen. And I think that if we trust that we have a strong agile coach and we build good relationships with our teams, that it's going to help us understand better what a coach does. Because the role of the agile coach isn't just a super defined role. And I think that's where many coaching certifications go wrong. You know, they give you a list, a wonder list. And what I can tell you is that sometimes that list is not perfect. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I'd rather have an imperfect list, and function correctly than try to say the list is perfect and do everything on the list and not be able to do the job well and service the teams in a way that's productive for them. So I hope this was helpful for you. I know it's not an exact list of what a coach does for every hour of the day because, quite honestly, there isn't one. But if there's more that I can give you about agile coaching, feel free to drop a comment in the notes below, and I will do whatever I can to make sure that we produce something more for you, maybe a short checklist or something, because I do believe that there's something out there, but I don't believe it's something so specific. If you have a topic you want us to cover, feel free to reach out. Learn more at agiledad.com. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.